Good morning to all of you. In last class we have seen about the characteristics of sound. We have talked about amplitude, we have talked about frequency, we have talked about time period, we have talked about loudness also, pitch also, quality also. What do we mean by amplitude? The maximum displacement from the mean position, that is said to be amplitude. What is frequency? Number of oscillation completed per second. Number of oscillation completed per second, that is frequency. And what is time period? The time taken to complete one oscillation. One thing more, that frequency and time period both are inversely proportional to each other, and the formula is F is equal to 1 by T. It means that if frequency will be more, time period will be less, and if time period will be less, frequency will be more. For example, if the frequency of the sound is 10 Hertz, so what will be time period? 1 by 10, T is equal to 1 by F, 1 by 10, that is equal to 0.1 second. And if the frequency of the sound is, suppose 100 Hertz, then time period T is equal to 1 by 100, that is 0.01 second. It means if the frequency will be more, time period will be less, and if the frequency will be less, time period will be more. Second thing, we have talked about the loudness, that loudness is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. It means that if we will increase the amplitude, loudness will also be increased, and if we will decrease the amplitude, loudness will be decreased. Okay, means if a sound is loud and if a sound is feeble, it depends on the loudness, it depends on the amplitude. If the amplitude will be more, if the amplitude will be high, the sound will be loud. If the amplitude will be low, then it will be feeble sound. Second, pitch. Pitch, as we have talked in our previous class also, that it distinguishes whether the sound is shriller or flatter. If the frequency pitch is directly pitch depends on the frequency. If frequency will be more, the sharpness in the sound will be more. The sharpness will be more, means the shrillness will be more. And if the frequency will be less, shrillness will be less, and sound will be flatter. One thing, note that if amplitude will change, it does not affect the frequency, and if frequency will change, it does not affect the amplitude. Okay, now some important point is there which I have discussed earlier, that we will discuss here also, that loudness of a sound is proportional to the square of the amplitude. If we will increase the amplitude twice, loudness will increase by how many times? 4 times. 2 square 4. If we will increase the amplitude by 5 times, loudness will increase by 5 square, that is 25 times. If we will increase the loudness by 10 times, then what will happen? If the amplitude will become 10, then the loudness will become how much time? 10 square, that is 100. And loudness is measured in decibel, and is short form we write dB. Okay, and when we are talking about this loudness, that which is measured in dB, and above 80 dB the noise become physically painful. It becomes physically painful to us. Normal breathing, in normal breathing, how much it is of how much dB? Loudness is 10 dB. Soft whisper at 5 meter, 30 dB. Normal conversation which we do, 60 dB. Busy traffic, how much? It is 70 dB. Average factory, how much? 80 dB. Now we will see about the range of hearing. See, as we have learned that due to the vibration, sound is produced. Due to the vibration, sound is produced. So, and what is number of oscillation per second? That is frequency. Number of oscillation, that is per second, that is our what? Frequency. So, if the vibration is taking place, sound is producing. So that is other criteria, that the vibration produces sound, but there is sound we can hear or we cannot hear. If the sound whose frequency is less than 20 Hertz, we cannot hear. That is said to be infrasonic sound. And the sound whose frequency is more than 20,000 Hertz or 20 kilohertz. 20,000 Hertz, we can also write 20 kilohertz, because 1 kilo is equal to 1000. 1 kilohertz is equal to 1000 Hertz. So 20 kilohertz means 20,000 Hertz. So if sound whose frequency is more than 20,000 Hertz, then also we cannot hear. means we can hear the frequency which lies between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. That is audible frequency. That is which frequency? Audible range. That is audible range, means the human being can hear sound frequencies between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Okay, and if the sound frequency is less than 20 Hz, it is said to be infrasonic sound. It is said to be infrasonic sound. And some animals like elephant, rhinoceros can hear sound up to the frequency of 5 Hz also. Whales etc. produce and hear infrasonic sound. And sound whose frequency is more than 20,000 Hz, that is ultrasonic sound, or like dolphin, bat, parrot, dog, they produce which type of means they listen, dolphin, bat and rat produce ultrasonic sound. And bat what do? It use reflection of ultrasonic sound wave to detect an obstacle or its prey, because bats what it do? When bats move, it use reflection of this sound, ultrasonic sound, what to detect any obstacle or to its prey, means its food. Now some animals are there which hear sound above frequency higher than 20,000 Hz. Like dogs have this ability, which can hear the sound above 20,000 Hz. And the police use this high frequency whistle which dog can hear but human cannot. So think, in the search operation or many where the police use which frequency? High frequency whistle which dogs can hear but we cannot. And the ultrasonic equipment that we are familiar with, that which we are using in investigating and tracking many medical problems. And since it is ultrasonic frequency is greater than 20,000 Hz. So here that the animals like dolphins, we can say that communicates with each other with the help of ultrasonic frequency which we cannot hear. Okay, but they produce that type of sound, like dolphin, bat and rat produce ultrasonic sound, and elephant, rhinoceros, whales, they produce and hear which type of sound? Infrasonic sound. And dogs can hear the sound whose frequency is about 20,000 Hz, and police use high frequency whistles which dogs can hear but human cannot hear. So this ultrasound, application of ultrasound is very more. Application of ultrasound is very more. It is used in our day-to-day life in the medical field. Field. Okay. Second things, when we are talking about the rhinoceros. Okay, so rhinoceros is animals which can listen a frequency of 5 Hz. See, very low. Okay, very low frequency, but these animals, what they do? They produce. So some animals listen infrasonic, some animals listen ultrasonic. Okay, so that is the ability of animals, and that's why these animals are used, like dogs is used in the search operation. Okay, and ultrasound is very high pitch sound, we cannot hear because its frequency is 20,000 Hz, and the upper limit of a human being is 20,000 Hz itself. Like, but dogs, bats and dolphins, they can hear these very high pitched sounds. Okay, and these bats use this ultrasound to see trees and insects at night. So these are the advantage of ultrasound. So here see produce that infrasonic, it is given here that if the frequency is less than 20 Hz, it is said to be infrasonic. If it is between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz, it is said to be sonic, and if it is greater than 20,000 Hz, it is said to be ultrasonic. Okay, and infrasonic also we cannot hear, and ultrasonic we cannot hear. So sources from which infrasonic is produced: volcanoes, earthquakes. Sonic we are saying with the humans, animals, animal roars, etc. And in the case of ultrasonic, birds, and in all this case, what is produced? So this was all about the audible and inaudible sound. Now in the next class we will talk about the noise and music. Thank you.